Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Lisa, and in this video I'm going to talk about meditations, things you should consider when you start practicing meditations. And I'm going to focus on three most important things: environment, breathing, and pose. Let's start it. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the pose in which you meditate. And for the beginners, as I've said earlier, this video is for the beginners. I have three options for you. Lotus pose, then we have the second option when you sit on the edge of your chair, of your sofa, of your bed, and I'm going to show you how it looks. And the third one when you use meditation bench or you use meditation pillow, and I'm going to talk about that more as well. So when we talk about the lotus pose, it can be a bit uncomfortable for the beginners, but when we actually meditate, we want to feel ourselves comfortable and not getting distracted by having like cramps in your legs, wanting to move your legs. So we have lots of distractions and we are not actually focusing on the meditation. We are paying attention to the feelings we have in our body and uncomfortable feelings we have in our body. So that's why sometimes it's easier to start for the beginners with option 2, but again I'm going to show you and explain to you how each option looks like, so you have a variety of poses and you can choose which one works best for you. So let's start with our first pose, and I'm already in it. It's our lotus pose. As I've said earlier, lotus pose can be a bit uncomfortable for the beginning because sometimes during the meditation you might feel cramps in your legs, and every time if you actually feel them, it's totally fine. It's important that you feel comfortable during the meditation. You can change the position. It's totally okay. Don't wait for it until it disappears. It's totally fine when you have cramps, when you feel uncomfortable in your legs. So you can change the position, but don't open your eyes when you do that because you still want to be in the meditation state. So your eyes are closed, and let's say I feel cramps in my right leg, and I can change it and put it at the top. And it's totally fine. But please remember that your eyes are closed. Don't sit for the whole meditation for 10 or 20 minutes feeling uncomfortable. It's totally fine, as I've said earlier, to change your pose. Okay, if we talk about our first option, our lotus pose, I'm going to move a bit to show you the right position, the right pose, how we're supposed to sit. So here's our lotus pose. And we have a couple things here you should pay attention to and consider is again our lower back. So pay attention to your lower back. We don't sit like that. We don't sit like that. Don't overextend your back. That's important. So your back should be straight. Our neck, we stretch our neck. We kind of want to stretch it to the top up there. And our top head is again looking up, and our chin is a bit down, is a bit inside. So that's kind of our perfect meditation pose. Why it's important for the meditation to have our legs touching the ground, and you actually should meditate with your legs and your knees touching the ground, and why we sit actually on the ground, because we want to have this connection with heaven and earth, with the ground, have the connection with the ground, with our cosmos, with our universe. So that's why we straighten our top head. So we want to go more up and connect with the heaven and get the energy from the top, and we want to stay connected with the ground. Grounded and earthing is also important. So that's why when we sit in the right position, when our back is straightened, when our neck is stretching up, and we have our top head going up as well, we have the right flow of the energy in our body. So that's why it's important that your pose is in the right position. We put our hands, our arms on our knees, and our palms are facing up as again for our energy flow. So that's kind of your perfect and your right meditation option number 1, your lotus position. So the option number 2, as I said earlier, is to sit on the edge. It can be your chair, it can be your sofa, it can be your bed. But why you should sit on the edge? Because when we sit deeper, let's say on the chair, again we sit like that, we have the wrong position of our back. Or if we sit deeper, again, rely on our back of the chair. That's not what we need. And so the first thing, it's important why we sit on the edge, because we need 90 degrees here. And we put our feet on the ground. As I've said earlier, for every meditation pose, it's important that you touch your ground. So we have our feet put on the ground. We have 90 degrees here. That's why we sit on the edge of your chair. So we pay attention to our back. So we straighten our back. We don't sit like that. We don't sit like that, which is too much, as you can see here in your lower back. So we sit straight. We put our top head. We aim to go to the top. We kind of straighten our neck. We straighten our top of our head, and our chin is a bit down, a bit inside, and we put our hands facing top, our palms are facing up. So that's your perfect meditation pose for option number 2. So for the option 3, since, as I've said earlier, the lotus pose can be a bit uncomfortable, and you may want to use meditation pillows, or we also have meditation bench. Why it can be more comfortable for you to use them? For example, I do have a lower back problems, and when you sit on the bench or when you sit on the pillow, it's easier for you to sit and feel more comfortable when you actually do longer meditations for 20 or 30 minutes or even more. So let me show you how my pose will look like using the pillow. So I sit on the pillow. As you can see, my posture, it's already correct. So it's kind of, the pillow can support your lower back, it can support your posture, and it's easier to get the right pose. Again, my knees are touching the ground and my back straightened. You pay attention to your back, you pay attention to your neck, your top head, and you put your hands here. So that's why I do recommend, if you're the beginner or if you have some lower back problems or you have problems with your posture, use pillows or use meditation benches. Meditation benches are also great for the beginners, or overall for meditations. Pillows and benches, they're great, as I said earlier, especially if you do longer meditations. They can help you to keep the right posture, the right pose, and it's easier to keep your back straight rather than just doing the lotus pose without having your pillow or your meditation bench. So the second thing is breathing, how you should breathe during the meditation. And when we just enter the meditation at the beginning of your meditation, do a couple 2 to 3 deep breaths. You breathe in with your nose and you breathe out with your mouth, and you do a couple 2 to 3 of those deep breaths. And after you have done that, you can continue breathing in your own tempo, in your own rhythm. There is no need to breathe that deeply during the whole meditation. You can continue on your own tempo, and you don't have to breathe out with your mouth. You can breathe in and breathe out using your nose, but sometimes if you follow the voice, if you do the meditations following somebody with the guidance, sometimes they will tell you when you have to breathe out using your mouth. But usually, in majority of cases, you just use your nose when you breathe in and when you breathe out. If we talk about the tongue position, when you breathe, you put your tongue at the top under your upper teeth, like that. And when you breathe, just always remember about your tongue, that it's under your upper teeth. You put it there, the position of your tongue is there. And the breathing, like usually when people ask me on what should I focus on during my meditation, when I have so many thoughts on my mind, what should I do? So the breathing is on what you should focus on during your meditation. You focus on the way you inhale and the way you exhale, and that's how you get rid of all those thoughts, by focusing on your breathing. You can focus on your tongue position, just making sure that it's on the right place, and focus on the way you inhale and the way you exhale. So breathing is important during meditation, but as I've said earlier, you don't have to make lots of deep breaths during the whole meditation. Maybe when you follow somebody's voice, they can tell you that you have to inhale and with your nose and exhale with your mouth, but usually in majority of cases, as I've said earlier, usually you breathe in your normal tempo, in your normal rhythm, using your nose both for inhales and both for exhales. And remember about your tongue position. And again, if you want to get rid of all your thoughts in your mind, focus on your breathing. So the next thing is environment, and here I have a couple main and key ideas for you. So the first one, remember that meditation is a spiritual practice. So that's why when you meditate, whatever is around you, outside of you, in your environment, it is important for your practice. Then if we talk about environment, I'm gonna talk about phones. So when you start meditating, make sure that you have your phone on silent, or maybe it's somewhere in the different room, so you're not getting distracted by the phone, or maybe you got a notification and during the meditation you heard this notification and you're gonna start thinking, who messaged me, who called me? You're gonna get easily distracted by your phone. So if it's possible to put your phone on silent or even keep it in another room, it would be great. If not, it's not good at all. But so make sure that for the next 10 to 20 minutes nobody is going to distract you. If you live with someone in your place, in your apartment, just come to them and tell them, okay, I'm gonna be busy for the next 10 to 20 minutes, please do not distract me, I am busy, don't touch me, don't come into my room, I am busy. It's just a time for yourself, so nobody distracts you. So that's about the environment, and I do have a couple extra things for you. You should know some facts and some key things. So people ask me why you cannot meditate like lying in your bed or taking a bus and meditating. So as I said earlier, meditation is a spiritual practice. Of course, there are certain meditations where you can just lie on the floor or in your bed, but usually those meditations are for relaxative purposes. But meditations, majority of them, are about being able to be here at this present moment, here right now. So that's why when you're just a beginner, when you're just starting to meditating, I don't recommend you to try meditations when you're lying on the bed or when you're lying on the floor. But with the practice, maybe when you're intermediate level or when you're advanced and you have been practicing for a while, you can definitely do that. But again, it depends on the meditation. Not every meditation you can do in this pose, but the poses, the sitting pose, the lotus pose are the most common ones. And as I've said earlier, we want to be here at this present moment. And those meditations, when you lie on your bed, they're mostly for relaxation purposes. You can do one like that before you go to bed, for example, but when you're just starting the day, it's not the best idea. But you can definitely do that later on. But as I've said earlier, this video is for the beginners. So as a beginner, please don't try that, because you can get easily frustrated, because you can easily fall asleep and it's going to be hard for you to focus on the meditation. And the last thing you should remember about meditations is that meditations, they have cumulative effect. So don't expect to get results, a lot of like crazy results after the first meditation. Don't expect a magic to happen after your first meditation. For example, when you just start learning a new language, you don't start speaking in the first class. It takes time, and with the progress, with your process of learning, you actually can speak after a month, let's say. The same with the meditation. It has, as I've said earlier, a cumulative effect, and you should do it on regular basis. And even if you do 5 minutes every single day, it's gonna be enough. It's kind of a stereotype, a myth that meditation should be exactly like 20 or 30 minutes. It should be long. No, meditation can be 5 to 10 minutes and it's totally fine. For example, I do my morning meditations. They take maximum 10 minutes, about 7 to 10 minutes, and that's it. It's enough for the morning. It's enough to get ready for the day, and you don't need 30 minutes for that. So it varies from meditation to meditation. It varies from the topic and the theme of your meditation. And for the beginners, I do recommend you to listen to the meditations when you have somebody's voice and you follow this voice, so you have a certain guidance, and it's easier for you to follow the meditation and get rid of those thoughts and ideas in your mind. You have someone saying the things to you, what you should think about, what you should imagine, etc. So that's why for the beginners, I do encourage you, highly encourage you to do meditations with the guidance, and later on you can start practicing by yourself. But when you practice by yourself without the music, without nothing, it's a bit hard and requires certain skills and requires certain experience, right? So those were my top 3 most important things you should consider and pay attention to when you just start meditating. If you're a beginner, you have never practiced before, or maybe you have just started. So remember about your pose, remember about your breathing, and remember about your environment. And I also talked about other extra things you should be aware of when you start meditating. And let me know in the comments below if you found something new for yourself in this video about meditations, and if you have, let me know if you have tried meditating before. If not, why, what stops you from trying. And see you in my next video, and thank you for watching. Bye.